Hello, everyone. This is Miss Rhonda. Welcome to TME Podcast. How are you doing today? I want to take the time to thank everyone who has been listening and watching and liking and sharing and commenting on my podcast. I am elated that you are doing that, and I hope to continue to have you as a listener for the podcast. I want to also take the time to thank everyone who has been watching the the Incredible Woman series that I have been doing for the last few weeks. If you have not had the opportunity to watch or listen to that series, to hear my interviews with some very incredible women, please go back and take a listen. You will be pleased. Those have been some very liked and successful interviews. I have several more coming, but pinning these women down have been something else. These incredible women are doing incredible things. They have events and businesses to run. They're traveling. They have families and graduations and all kinds of stuff. So I have more interviews coming. So please continue to follow and watch my Facebook page so you'll know when the next interview is coming up and who the next interview would be with. Right now, I don't have that information because even though I get them scheduled, things change. I have to move things around. So this week, you have me, just me. So today, we're going to talk briefly about religion versus relationship. And I've talked about this topic before on one of my TikTok videos. If you follow me on TikTok, I have TikTok videos, and I have them also on my YouTube channel, some of those TikToks. But religion versus relationship, to me, in my mind, this is just me, there is a difference, right? Because like for so many Black people, they don't even believe in Jesus anymore, right? There's like, that's just a white Jesus. We don't do him no more. They taught us their religion when they came over here, when they took us, all of this, right? Okay, I digress. I get it. I hear you, right? So the question is, do we still believe in Jesus? I know my son tells me, and he told me, he's like, can't nobody tell you nothing about you and your Jesus. It's you and your Jesus, right? But for me, it's not about the religion. It's not about that. It's about the relationship, right? So I have over the years through all, can I just say that I have done things that I'm not proud of, right? Just in my lifetime. And I know many of us have been like that or felt like that and have done that. And we've done things that we've had to forgive ourselves for. And we've done things that we've had to ask people to forgive us for, right? Let's just be honest about that when we say that. Let's just be real. So I would say that I have been under some great teachers. I started out at the Second Missionary Baptist Church in Kinloch, Missouri, under Pastor Earl Miller, right? When I left his teaching, I was at Midwest Missionary Baptist Church for 17 years under Pastor C.B. Moore, my uncle, right? When I left his teachings, I was under Pastor Harvey, St. Louis Christian Center. Can't tell me nothing about that man. That man is an awesome teacher. And I will say at that time and at the age that I was, because by the time I got to St. Louis Christian Center, I needed something else spiritually, and that's where I found it, right? That's where I learned to speak in tongues. That's where I got my heavenly language. They didn't do that in my old church, and there's nothing, I mean, saying nothing wrong, right or wrong about that. I'm just saying where my spirit led me to. I knew I needed something else. And that is what it was. So being at St. Louis Christian Center, I was able to grow so much spiritually. I learned to commune with God and communicate with God. I learned how to pray. And I met some awesome women of God at that church, right? One of the first women that I met there was Deanna Brooks. I hope she does not mind me saying her name. It is because of her and the teachings of Pastor Harvey and, of course, other ministers that I learned about my words. Your words are powerful beyond meaning. They speak life before you. They go out before you. You have to watch what you say, right? There are lyrics to songs that I don't even repeat because I'm like, nah, I can't even say that. I cannot even confess those words out of my mouth, right? So it's about learning and it's about building the relationship. To me, for me, when you talk about religion, it's a lot of do's and don'ts. You can't wear this, can't say this, can't do that. You can't be with this person, you can't be with that person. Well, if we talking about Jesus and if we being real about it, that's not how he was. So why are we like that? I was trying to turn my light on. So why are we like that? Right? 2020 came with COVID, churches started shutting down. And I was even thinking to myself, why is this happening to the church and why is it happening now at this time? I've never, and I know there's debate about this, and I shouldn't say never, but I don't believe that, and Pastor said this Sunday, because right now I'm under teachings of Pastor Paul Hudson. He's an incredible man. He's an incredible teacher. He said this Sunday, and in my mind, I was saying I disagree, but this is just me. Okay. I don't believe that you have to be in church to worship, praise, to have a relationship with God. Now, he gave his explanation Sunday, and when he gave his explanation Sunday on why we needed to be in church, in the building, to worship and to be around like-minded people, I was like, okay, I can get with that. I can get with that. I understood. And even in my mind, then after he got done, I said, okay, God, I thank you for that. I received that, right? But there's so many reasons why people are ran away from church. I was one of them for a while. When I was 33, I was a single, a single mom, was a single mom, but I was not married to my son's father when I got pregnant with him. And I was kind of shunned from the church I was in at that time. And eventually it's what led me to leave. It's part of the reason that led me to leave. I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I didn't feel welcome. I didn't feel wanted there. I felt out of place. That's the word. I just felt out of place after that whole incident. You know, I couldn't serve in the church anymore because I was pregnant, all these different things I couldn't do. So it kind of took me out spiritually, right? So I had my son, and then, like I said, I eventually ended up at St. Louis Christian Center. And what drew me to St. Louis Christian Center, I used to listen to him on the radio, right? And I kept saying, one day I'm going to visit that church. One day I'm going to visit that church, but I don't church hop, right? One day I'm going to visit that church. One day I'm going to visit that church. And one day, that one day came. And once I walked into that church, literally walked into that church, I knew that was where I was supposed to be. And I stayed. I didn't go back to my old church. I stayed there under Pastor Harvey. So anyway, that's where I got my adult grounding, if you will, you know, because I had already been had seeds planted in me by Pastor Earl Miller, a lot of seeds planted by Pastor C.B. Moore, right? And even with Pastor Jeffrey Grimes, who took over after Pastor C.B. Moore was gone, seeds planted, right? But like, I can't even explain how much I grew in that time in St. Louis Christian Center spiritually. Like I said, I learned how to pray. I learned how to pray in the spirit. I just learned so many different things, and even learning how to read through the Bible and kind of understand better the thieves and the thous and the whence and the monks and all, you know, how the King James Version goes, all of that, right? Uh, and I guess it was, and you can say that it was in my adult years that I realized how much I had been kept by God, right? Kept by God. So what does that mean, being kept by God? That means I've done some stupid stuff. I've been in places I had no business being in. I've been with people I had no business being with, and I'm still here, or I'm better for it, or nothing happened that could have happened, or it happened to somebody else. Understand? Kept. I can remember being young in an apartment with my girls, and for the life of me, today, I cannot remember what I was so distraught or sad about, but it was during this time when I realized I had a gift. Well, actually, I realized it before then. Anyway, I had a gift. Like, I could be in my room in the dark, and sometimes I just be sad. Sometimes I just be crying. I don't know if it's about bills. I don't know. I don't remember. Um, and I would always see the silhouettes with this grainy hair, right? And that's when I knew and I realized that those pictures of Jesus that grandma had in the house and that you see in the store, those are not him. Okay, definitely not him. God showed himself to me then a very long time ago. And ever since then, you can't tell me nothing about what God looks like. All right. So I should say Jesus. But anyway, because you will never see the face of God. But anyway, those silhouettes would come, and they would come often. And every time they would come, they would always calm me, right? No matter what, I always calm me. I'd stop crying. I wouldn't be sad, you know, and, you know, whatever. And I would have these dreams. These dreams would be the most amazing, most vivid dreams you have ever seen in your life. I knew that I was laying my head on God's lap, whether I was crying or just talking to him. The dreams, they're so bright. And I'm not saying that I'm special. I know that if I've had these visions and these dreams, that someone else in the world is having them too, or they have had them before. I know they have. You know, there is anyway, but these dreams would be so vivid, bright, and I could never see God, but I could feel him in my spirit, and I could hear him talking to me, right? And it was just like, you know, you have like the little essences of clouds kind of throughout, but I haven't had that dream in years. And I don't know if it's because my connection is different, or maybe, I don't know, but I haven't had those dreams in years. But I used to love to dream about having conversations with God. Do you hear me? It's amazing. But it's times like that when I know that I'm in relationship, and it has nothing to do with religion, right? Religion to me is so Some of it is political. I can't, I want to say so many things. Too many do's and don'ts, rules that are man-made. People have added and taken away things, right? Which I know people say that that's the case with the Bible too, and I understand that there are missing books and things that don't make sense, and things that you may not understand. I get all of that. You understand what I'm saying? But again, that's religion. That's not relationship. I had okay, so I told you about the dreams. So this year, no, last year, I went to the Black History Museum here in St. Louis, Missouri, down on Cass, I do believe it is. I took a little field trip by myself. Hold on, let me turn this slide on. Hold on, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So I took this field trip by myself, and I was like, I want to go to the Black History Museum. I've been here all my life. I've never been. I'm going to go. So I go into the museum, whatnot, and they have different rooms that you can go into, and then there's a downstairs area. One of the first rooms that I go into, I see the slave ship. So there's a replica of the slave ship, and they have like dolls there that represent the bodies, and they're packed on top of each other. They're just crammed into this part of the boat, right? And then they have this plaque on the wall describing things that happen on a boat, what happens when someone gets sick, what happens if someone dies, with just all of these things. And I'm visualizing it in my mind, what's happening to my people. And I just started crying. I'm in literal tears standing in this museum. And because it is heartbreaking, it is sad, and it is disgusting. So, I go on through the museum, through the history, the different things that are there displayed, reading, right, walk through. So eventually I came to religion. And it was explaining how in Africa and other, the Black countries, Africa, whatever, if you will, that we kind of had our own religious practices that we were doing. And I don't remember what they were calling them in the museum or whatnot. But as the Caucasians came, they started teaching us Christianity, and Christianity grew. Don't look at my nails, y'all. Christianity grew and just became more popular. They started building churches, whatnot, something to that. It's not exact, but something to that, right? So I'm standing there in this museum. Now, mind you, I just told you, I just came from looking at all these people on this slave ship crammed in here, and they then threw them over the water and in the river and all of this crap. When they got sick or when they died, they just threw them overboard like trash. And now I'm in another room, and they telling me that these same people taught us religion. Look at here. I was so angry. I was so angry standing there. I was like, there's no way that these are the same people who did this, who have the nerve to try to teach us religion, and they think they're right, and they think what we were doing was wrong. That's something's wrong with this picture. Something is wrong with this picture. That's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm like, okay, you can no longer call me a Christian. And I don't consider myself a Christian. I'm a person of God. I'm a woman of God. I'm a child of God. But I don't call myself a Christian. Because Christians did that. And they read the Bible. But they thought that that was okay. That is not the most hateful, disgraceful thing. And I do understand, I do realize that there are people, Black and white, who do not believe that slavery ever happened. And surely it didn't happen to like everybody. Like everybody didn't come from Africa. Some people were in different parts of the world. I get that. You understand? So that was the problem that I was having like last year, and I was like warring with myself. You know what I'm saying? The mere thought, the mere thought that Jesus was not real for me was breaking my heart. I was like, I cannot not believe that Jesus is not real. He may not be the way he is depicted in the Bible, right? Like, you understand what I'm saying? But I cannot not believe that Jesus is not real. He's done, it's just been too much in my life. Too much. When I had my son, giving birth to him, I almost died. And I'm not joking. And I know many women have almost died in childbirth. And I'm one of those stories, right? So when you hear someone say that God healed their body, I can relate to that, right? When you hear people talk about checks coming in the mail that they were not expecting, I can relate to that. When you talk about Jesus will work it out, you understand, and how you can't figure out how things are going to happen, and out of nowhere your problem is solved, everything is solved. I can relate to that. For me, I have more studying to do. You know, I have lots of conversation with my friend James. We talk a lot, Mr. Speaks, about just all different kinds of stuff, right? And me and my son, we talk about all different kinds of stuff because he believes in God, but he doesn't believe Jesus is how they have him depicted in the Bible either. He struggles with that. But the one thing I know for a fact is that there's no science didn't do this, right? Science didn't create me. That's why they're messing up now with all this cloning and whatever this crap they're trying to do. They messing up because they're not God, right? I know that God keeps putting me in places intentionally surrounded by people of God. Like everything I try to do, he surrounds me with people of God. I went to, and I guess I wasn't paying attention, went to an event Saturday because I wanted to start a garden, and they were giving away like everything that you needed to start your garden. I get down there and it's a church. I said, God has a real sense of humor, right? I don't care what I'm doing. He surrounds me with people of God, and I'm grateful that he keeps me grounded and near him because I need to be near him. That's relationship, right? I talk to him all day long. You know what I'm saying? All day long, just about anything and everything, not because I want something, not because I need something, because I want to talk to him. Yes. You know, he's incredible to me, and I know he's planning something for my life. I can feel it. I don't know what it is yet, right? But he planning it out, and I can see it unfolding. I can be a little stubborn, if you will. I can be a little stubborn, but my relationship with him is uber important to me, and I don't apologize for it to nobody. Nobody, and I never will. I never will. I'm studying my Bible more. I don't want to say studying. Let me take that back. I'm reading my Bible more, because studying and reading is two different things. I'm doing it more often, right? And I'm kind of dissecting it, if you will, because again, you, like I said, you have situation where things just don't make sense. And I might need to have several books out, to concordance and some other books out with it. I know my son, I bought him the Quran. And you know what amazes me about these religious books, of they all tell, the stories are so similar, right? They just have different names, but the stories are so similar. Even when you talk about Buddha, I mean, so the stories are so similar. So something had to have happened in that time, right? Nobody gonna have all these stories that's this close together and nothing has ever happened. That don't make sense to me. But I think if people would have more relationship and concentrate less on being religious, then it would really grow their lives exponentially in ways that they probably cannot even imagine, because God created us to be in relationship with him, not to be religious, not to say you can't do this, you can't do that, and we do this on this day and we do that on that day. I don't even have Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving anymore. I think it's been 3 or 4 years I stopped doing that. I no longer do Thanksgiving. We do family dinners, and it's not even on Thanksgiving Day. It's a week or so before Thanksgiving. I don't do Thanksgiving, right? So much has been commercialized and whatnot, and I'm really trying to get into doing more Kwanzaa than Christmas. I understand the concept of gift giving at Christmas, and I will not take that from my grandkids, because kids deserve to be kids. I just don't see anything wrong with that. But I love to decorate in Christmas. I do. I'm guilty. Um, but I think we just need to concentrate more on being in relationship than being in religion, right? So you ever wonder, why do we have so many churches? Like, we got a church and a liquor store on every corner almost. Like, why do we have so many churches? To me, in my mind, we have so many churches because so many people want to be in charge, right? And not in relationship. You want to be in religion, but not in relationship. Being in relationship requires you to have God in your heart, requires you to have God in your behavior. It requires you to have God in your language. How many church people have you met that are mean as hell? Mean, right? Or standoffish. That's just like Pastor Paul Hudson. I've watched him before, as we come to church, because the church is on a residential street and there are apartments across from the church. And at any given time, when you get to church, he's standing across the street talking to the people who live in the apartments. He's not standoffish, right? He's getting ready right now for a community event. From what I understand, they do every year, that they give out everything free to the community. I'm not saying he's the only one, but everybody doesn't do that. And I do understand that different churches have different callings. But what I'm saying is, he's a person of the community, he has a heart for the community, right? He's trying to grow the kingdom of God. He's trying to help people to build relationships with God. So I can be involved in that, right? I don't know. It can be a lot when you talk about religion relationships, and I know it can be debated. And I'm not a Bible scholar. No, I'm just a a person who tries to live their lives the best they can, imperfectly, but definitely walking and talking with God on the way. You understand? I don't always listen to him when I'm supposed to. I don't always do what I'm supposed to do. I don't always do what I know is not, do what I know is right, right? Or avoid doing the wrong thing. You understand what I'm saying? Um, I'm human, but I'm tell you what, I know for a fact that God hears my prayers. He lets me know that he hears my prayers, period. I know for a fact that there's things that are not going to happen when I'm present. I can tell you a story that, well, I don't know if I have time to tell the story, but I have had times where, many times, where I know something is going to happen before it happens verbatim. I can see it here. And when it happens just exactly how I saw it. There was a period of time when that used to happen so much to me that I asked God to take that gift away because it was scaring me. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know how to handle it. And I was like, no, I'm not, no. And he did. I stopped having the visions. I stopped having those feelings because sometimes I can feel when things are happening. And it drives my kids crazy because they know if I say that I don't feel it in my spirit, or my spirit is feeling a certain way, they know it's real. They know it's real. You can ask them. And my daughter be like, Mom, I hate when you do that. She's like, oh no. But yeah. I'm grateful for my relationship with God. I don't give anything for it. Anything for it. I love him with all of my heart and my soul. And he knows that. And now you know that, right? I just think that more people need to be less religion and concentrate on more of having a relationship with God. And it doesn't matter what somebody else thinks about it, right? It really doesn't matter. And you don't have to showboat it. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be boisterous. You don't have to be any of that. You don't have to be flashy. None of it. You don't. I've had somebody walk into my house and tell me they felt the spirit of God. That's what I'm talking about. God is always present, right? His spirit is always present. And that's what's more important than being at Bible study on Tuesday. Pastor Paul gonna kill me for saying that, but I'm just saying. And I know it's all part of the building. But anyway, I'm gonna get in trouble. That's just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. Promise. Pastor Paul, I had to re-record this, so I can't remember what I said the last recording and what I said this recording. But just in case I didn't say it this recording, I believe that you don't have to be present in church to actually have a relationship or a bond or worship or praise God. And the way Pastor Paul explained it Sunday, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, I can receive that and I understand it better. I wish I could repeat it the way he had it. But basically, it's just about being around like-minded people to keep you grounded, kind of, sort of. He said a lot more, and I wish I could remember, and so I can say it back to you, because I have been very adamant about that, because like I said, I've been bedside Baptist for 2 years. I would turn on the TV and watch church, whether I'm watching Pastor T.D. Jakes or I'm watching, Higher Dimension in Houston, Texas, or whether I'm watching Elation Church, whatever, right? I would just turn on TV or watch motivational videos on YouTube. 2 years, but I'm finally, God told me I was not serving him in the manner that he needed me to serve him. So I had to go back to church. You understand? And with that being said, and then what Pastor Paul said on Sunday, I was like, okay, now put those two together. It all makes sense, right? But again, that's relationship. It's still not religion. Listening to him, listening to the call of God, being able to hear his voice and do his will is relationship. It's not religion. So I'm going to end it there. And I hope you all enjoy it. I would love to hear your comments and your feedbacks on what I had to say. You do not have to agree with me. It is fine. Okay. So again, I am Miss Rhonda, and I thank you for listening to TME Podcast. Please like, share, follow, comment on whatever platform that you are using to watch or listen to us. And I will see you at the top. Bye-bye.